Hello designers and welcome back to another Affinity Designer tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to create flat character designs. So let's get into it. Okay, before we start designing our flat character design, I'm going to set up the workspace so it works a little bit better for us. So the first thing I want you to do if you're following along with me is toggle on snapping. Just up here, that magnet icon there, select that and click on the drop down arrow and just make sure snap to guides is on there. You can see the other options I have selected. So the next thing we're going to need is a guide, and we can get one of those by going up to View and then Guides here. And then under Vertical Guides, it says the plus icon right down the bottom, Add New Vertical Guide. Select that, it adds one in the middle. We can press Close. Another way to get a guide, if your rulers are showing, like mine are on the left and the top, is just to click on the ruler and drag out a guide like that. If you no longer want the ruler anymore, you can just double click it. This box opens, you can click on the trash can icon and press close. If your rulers aren't showing, just go up to View and Show Rulers. Okay, so we're going to be using the color tab a lot in this. So rather than me going all the way over there to the right hand side, I'm going to select it and just drag it out so it's right next to our design. Okay, we're almost ready, but you can see I have a little color palette down here. And this is a color palette I've chosen. I want to use these colors in my design. If you want to make your own little one just on the screen like this, it's simple. Just grab the rectangle tool on the left hand side, click and drag that out whilst holding shift just to keep it in a perfect square. You can have anything really. Let go and you choose a color from here. So let's say I choose like some kind of pink color. Great. So now I want to make a duplicate of this, but I'm just going to select V, the move tool, so I can select it, move it around. Now I'm going to hold shift, command, click and just drag down. And I can make a few of these. And then I just select each one, choose the color I want, and there we go, terrible colors. So that's how you make your little mini color palette there, but I don't need them because I've got my own one already. Okay, let's start designing this face. Let's start off by drawing the face. So we're gonna head on over to the left-hand side to the tools and click on rectangle tool. And we'll click and drag out a rectangle that looks something like this. Now let go. Select the move tool, which is V on the keyboard, or you could just touch it on the top there, move tool, basically the arrow, and click and drag it until it reaches the guide. And you see it snaps into places. This is where the snapping and guides comes in very useful. Now that we've done that, I want to sample one of these colors and apply it to this shape. So I'll go up to the color tab, click on the color picker tool, click and drag down, and hover it over the color you want and let go. This little circle here fills up with that color and you could just click it once to apply. I'll be using this process a lot, so when I say I'm going to sample something, I'll be doing it this way, okay? So obviously this is looking quite rectangular. Let's start smoothing off the bottom here so we can create a jaw. So head on up to the left-hand side and select corner tool. Shortcut for this one is C. Select that and click and drag a box around the two lower nodes and just select one of them and drag it up till it's a round circle like this. Now we can click on V, the move tool again, and I'm just going to go over to the layers tab and just try and stay organized. I'll just name this layer face and press return. I just double clicked that layer and named it face. So now I want to create some ears. So we're going to head on over to the ellipse tool, select that and click and drag out whilst holding shift so you can keep it like a perfect circle and let go. Let's zoom in a little bit and click on V, the move tool, so we can position it where we want. Yeah, just around there. And what I'm going to do is duplicate this so we can have like an inner ear color as well. So I'll press Command C, Command V. We have a duplicate. I'm going to use the color picker tool and click on the color picker, sample this color here and apply. Now let's zoom in again to it and I'll rescale this. So I'll just click and drag down whilst holding Shift and Command to keep it in a perfect circle and leave it about there. Okay, because I want to stay organized in the layers panel, what I'm going to do is hold shift and select the other part of the ear. So this is our full ear here, and I'm going to group them together. So you can either press Command G on the keyboard, and if you look in the layers panel, it says a group, or you can go ahead and select, let's say this layer and this layer here whilst holding shift, right click, and then you see it says group. Okay, so I'll select the ear, I'll name it ear, press return. Okay, let's look at the size of it. I think it's okay for now. We can always rescale later, but what I'm going to do now is just duplicate it again. So I'll press Command J on the keyboard. That's made a duplicate. I'm going to hold Shift, click, and I'm going to drag it across. And you see that yellow line there? That's because I'm holding shift down and it helps me to drag it off to the side there. And it's snapped into place, I'll let go. So we have two ears here. In the layers panel, they are both above the face layer. So I can select both of them. So one selected, hold shift, select the other one. Now click and drag it underneath the face. And now you see those circles are kind of like half hiding behind the face. Let's zoom out and have a look at it. Yeah, that's okay to begin with. Let's go ahead and create the eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and select the ellipse tool again, and I'll just select the face layer just once so that when I draw, it's going to be on top of that layer. So I'll drag out a shape about that big, click V, the move tool, and now I can go ahead and sample the black color. So color picker tool, sample the black and apply. So this is going to be a feminine character, a female. So I'm going to reposition this and give it an eyelash. So there's a simple way of doing this. We can head on over to the triangle tool. So long press this bottom shape, go to the triangle tool, select that, and now just click and drag out a kind of wide triangle like this and let go. Now click on V, the move tool. Let's zoom in. I'm going to flip this around just by holding this handle, and I'll just hold down shift so it goes in increments. Now I'll click and drag until it snaps into place there. And you see, I don't want this little section to be overlapping, so I'm just going to drag this corner in slightly like that. So we have our first eye. What I'm going to do, instead of grouping these together, I'm just going to select both of them, hold shift, click, so both of them are selected. I'm going to add them together using Boolean operations. So head on up to Boolean operations and click on add. Once you've clicked that, it's no longer two layers, it's now just one layer. And I will call this in the layers panel, eye, and press return. Okay, I'm just going to position this slightly closer to the center there, and I'm going to zoom in again, and we're going to create an eyebrow. Go over to the left-hand side again, we'll use a different shape for this one. Long press that bottom shape and go to rounded rectangle tool. Click and just drag out your rounded rectangle. If you zoom in slightly, you'll see these little red dots. If you click on them, you can make them completely rounded. So let's click back on the move tool and zoom out to see what it looks like. Okay, I need to move the eye in a little bit and maybe that out a little bit. So now I'm going to duplicate these and flip them around for the other side of the face. So with the first one selected, hold shift, select the eye, and then just press Command J. That will make a duplicate. And we'll go up to the transform panel and we'll click on flip horizontal. Click that once, and now we can go ahead and drag it off to the side using the same technique we did with the ears. So hold shift, click, and drag across like that. So right now we don't actually know if they're centered on the face. So with two selected, let's select the other ones. Hold shift and select those other layers. And we can see here this bounding box kind of tells us that it's not centered. So we can just drag it until it snaps into place and let go. Okay, that's looking okay. Maybe I could drag it down slightly. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to create is a nose, and we're going to use the pie tool for this one. It's just going to be a simple nose. So head on over to the left-hand side again, long press, go down to the pie tool, which is there, and just click and drag out a pie. Hold shift while you're doing it. Maybe I'll make it this big here. So we're going to zoom in and play around with these nodes again, and just drag it down so it looks something like this. I'm going to click back on the move tool, and I'm going to sample another color. So color picker tool, click, sample that one and apply. And let's zoom in and try and position this, snap it to the center there. So now we need a mouth. So one simple way of doing it would just be to press Command J to make a duplicate of it. Hold shift, drag down, flip that around and scale it up and make that white. That's one way of having a really simple mouth. I'm going to do it slightly differently in this tutorial, and we're going to give this lady some lips, okay? So I'm going to press delete on that, and we're going to start off by using the pen tool. So head on up to the pen tool or click P on the keyboard. That's your shortcut. I'm going to select it, and what we're going to do now is just click once, hold shift, and maybe just click around here. Right now you can't see any thickness or anything, so what we need to do is go up to the context toolbar, click on the width, and just drag this up. We'll keep it quite thin, so I'll probably leave it around here. And we'll make sure that there's no fill in there. So I'll click on the fill and click on set fill to none. Back on the move tool and let's position it. And the reason I'm showing you this is because the technique I'm going to show you, we can create a happy face or a sad face very easily. So if you're going to make lots of different versions of this character, you can have one smiling and one unhappy if you want. Now we need the lips. So let's go over to our bottom shape here, long press on that and go to the heart tool. Select that one and just click and drag out a heart. And let's zoom in and play around with it further. So I'll click V, the move tool, just so I can position it into the center there. So the first thing I want is to get rid of this stroke. So I'll go up to the color tab, click on the stroke, set fill to none. I'll click on the fill there. And now we'll sample the color again. So color picker tool, drag down, sample that and apply. And in fact, I will grab the nose. I've got the nose selected. I'm going to choose the same color as the ears to keep the design a bit more uniform. So again, color picker tool, drag it onto that color and apply. So now it's the same as the ears. So let's go in and have a look at this. So first things first, I want this heart to be behind the line. So I can use the shortcut, command and left bracket key. That sent it behind on the layers panel. With the heart selected, I'll go up to convert to curves. Click on that. And what we're going to do here is basically just delete this lower node. And if we click on the smooth node over here, we can drag out this handle. So click and drag it out. If you don't want it to move around whilst you're dragging, just hold shift. So I'll drag that out like this, and I'll do the same for the other side as well. I'll click, shift and drag. Okay, that's looking all right. I'm going to press V on the keyboard and just reposition it. Maybe squeeze that in a bit like this. Okay, that's complete. So what we want to do now is group these together. So I'll hold shift, click the line. Oh, and one more thing I should probably say before I group these. This line here, if you're going to scale this design up and down to make it bigger and smaller, you want to make sure that in the stroke tab up here, scale with object is selected. If it isn't selected, that stroke thickness will not scale with the object. Okay, so just make sure that's selected. Okay, so we'll select both those layers and press Command G to group them. And let's go ahead and just name all these layers. Lips, and this is the nose, and these are the eyebrows up here. So I'll just eyebrows. Okay, so all the layers are named again now. So we'll click on the group and we're going to apply the warp group to it. So underneath the layers panel, go down to warp and click on it once. And now you see arc horizontal, select that. Now that I've selected it, you can see she's looking very unhappy, isn't she? We can change all of that though. We can turn it upside down. So let's go ahead and go to the context toolbar, click on value and just drag this down until we get the right amount of smile. Not too much now, just a little bit. There we go. And I'll click back on the move tool. So it's looking much better now, isn't it? But this jaw is looking quite rounded, isn't it? I want to make it a little bit more feminine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this face shape to curves. Because remember, we used the corner tool earlier. So up to convert to curves and click once on it. What I'm going to do first is just delete these two nodes at the bottom, press delete. Now on the chin, I'm going to click and drag out the hidden node that's always there, press delete on that. And I want to convert this node here, which is round. That's a smooth node. I want to convert it into a sharp node. So I can do that by going up to convert and then press sharp up here. Or I could just hold down option and click on the node. Okay, so it's looking extremely sharp right now. So we're going to change that. Let's use the corner tool again. So click on the corner tool, let's zoom out slightly, and we'll just click and drag that up to where we think it should be. Yeah, maybe about here looks good for now. And you know what? The jaw is still looking pretty sharp as well. So I'm going to head on over to the node tool, click on that, and I'm going to drag these handles down. But I want to drag both the handles down to the same position. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go up to our snap options in the context toolbar, and I'm going to select align handle positions using snapping options. I'll just select that one. And now I'm going to go ahead and click on this one. I'll hold shift and I'll just drag it down till I think that side of the jaw looks okay, and I'll let go. Now I'll go over to the other handle, hold shift, click, and I'll just drag down till it snaps into place. And just to make sure that those handles are in exactly the same position, I'm going to go ahead up to the ruler here, click and drag down a guide. And you can see they are completely aligned, which is great. Now I can delete this guide, double click on it, and just press trash. Press close and it's done. Okay, it's looking a lot more feminine now, but we need to sort out the hair, don't we? The head is looking like crazy blocky. So I'm going to create black hair in a bun, and it's going to have a hairband on it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and select our ellipse tool, click on that, and just click and drag out quite a big circle like this. I'm going to make this black, so I'm going to sample the black color there and just click apply. Go back on the move tool, V, and we'll send this to the back, okay? So I'll just position it kind of in the middle here. I want to send it to the back, so a shortcut I could use is Shift, Command, and left bracket key, or you could just go ahead and drag it to the bottom in the layers panel here. See, when you start getting quite a few layers, the shortcuts will come in handy. By the way, I will just show you now. Shift, Command, and right bracket key brings it all the way up to the top. Shift, Command, left bracket key brings it all the way to the bottom, okay? So it seems to be positioned okay. Maybe I could bring it up slightly like this. And in fact, I could probably bring the whole face and all the features down a little bit. So remember, you could just click and make your selection of all your shapes and just drag the whole thing down slightly. So I'm just going to resize this hair slightly. I'm going to bring it down a little bit and just drag it about there. Okay, good. Okay, let's create that bun. So we've got the hair shape selected and I haven't named it, so I'm just going to do that. Hair in the layers panel. I'm going to press Command C, Command V to make a duplicate of that. And as it's a duplicate and they're both called hair, I can call this lower one bun, press return, and I can start rescaling it. Maybe make it slightly smaller, and I'll create another duplicate of this for the hairband. So Command C, Command V, and we'll change the color of it. I'll just choose some kind of purple color, and I'll just drag that layer down slightly. So you can see we've got the hair bun now. This forehead is still looking pretty big, so this is what we're going to sort out now, okay? And we'll probably have to reposition the hair again. So with the face selected, what we're going to do is head on over to the node tool. We're going to select that, and now we're just going to plot a couple of nodes, okay? So before I do anything, I just want you to know that if you go up to snap options, we could probably turn this handle off now. Make sure this one is on, align to nodes of selected curves, okay? And I'll show you why. So as I go down and click, you'll see it's created a node. It's a smooth node right now, so I'll turn it into a sharp node. I'll just hold Option and click, or you can just press Convert to Sharp Node up there. And if I head on over to the side here and I hover over, you can see it's kind of snapping to that node over on the left-hand side. I could just click once again, and I'll also turn that into a sharp node. Okay, now we're going to create some kind of center parting, like she's got curtains. So I'm going to click this node here and just drag it to the middle. And I'm going to delete this one on the right-hand side there. And I'm going to bring this down slightly and just drag this path, just drag this out ever so slightly. And you can play around with the handles to get the style you want there. And I'll do the same again here. The hair is looking pretty big, I think. So I could always bring that down slightly. The whole thing, just scale it down and just drag it down like this. There we go. So the face is pretty much complete now. What I'm going to do is create a neck. So we're going to head on over to that lower shape over there again, long press on it, and we'll go to the trapezoid tool. Select that and just click and drag out your shape, okay? Click on the move tool and try and position it to something that kind of looks a bit more normal. Okay, now I'm going to change the color of it so it matches the skin. So again, click, and in fact, I'll just sample from the face there and apply. So right now it's still looking a bit strange, isn't it? Because it's going from really thick to really thin. So what we can do, you can either go back on the trapezoid tool again, click on that, and then you'll see these little red dots, or you can click on the node tool and it will show you those options again. So what I'm going to do is just hover over the little red node, click, I'm going to hold down Command, and I'm going to drag out like this because I don't want that much of a difference between them, okay? And I'm going to let go. So I'm going to click V, the move tool again, and that's still looking pretty thick, so I could just drag the whole lot in like this. Okay, now I want to create a shadow underneath this chin here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the face. I'm going to press Command C, Command V to make a copy of it. There it is. I'll press Command Z to make it go back, and I'm going to change the color of it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the color picker tool and sample this color over here again and press Apply. You see there it's turned the face into a different color, but don't worry, we're going to drag it down just over the neck. And in the layers panel, you see where it says face here? I can make it face shadow. I'm going to drag this over our trapezoid, which is our neck, and let go. And in fact, I'll just quickly name this neck. You can only see this face shadow inside of the neck. That's because the face shadow is clipped inside of the neck, which is really handy. And now it's in this kind of group looking thing. I can select face shadow, click and drag this up to about here and let go. Okay, so our face is complete. That's how to create one of those flat vector looking faces in Affinity Designer. In this example, we're going to create a man with a side parting, and we're going to give him a different mouth this time. So different mouth, different haircut. We're back to the base shapes again, as you can see. before we started playing around with that pointy chin and the forehead on the previous example. So let's create the mouth first. Over on the left-hand side, long press on the lower shape there, and we'll go all the way down to Crescent tool. Click on that, and just click and drag out your crescent whilst holding Shift. Now I'll just flip this around. I'm going to zoom in a little bit actually. I'm going to press on the Move tool and just center it around about there. From this point, we can use the corner tool. So just click C on the keyboard. That's the shortcut. Select those two nodes and we'll bring them in like that. Okay, that's part of the mouth done. Now we need to stick some teeth in there and a tongue. And we'll just do that with circles basically. And I want to clip them inside of this shape. So what I'll do is I'll just head up to Insertion and I'll click on Insert inside the selection. I'll click on that. Now I'll go ahead and grab an ellipse and I'll just click and drag out a circle like this. I'll go ahead and change the color as well. I'll just make it white. And I'll click on V, the Move tool, so I can rescale it. Okay, the teeth are in. Now I need a tongue. So what I'm going to do is just press Command C, Command V to copy that circle. I'm going to bring it down there. I'm going to change the color. I will sample this red over here. So color picker tool, sample, apply. Obviously, I don't want it in front of the teeth, so I need to send it back. I'll just use the shortcut this time, Command and left bracket key, and that sent it back. And I'll rescale it so it looks slightly better. And there we go. We have a mouth with teeth and a tongue there. Now let's sort out the hair. So I want to give him a side parting. So I've got the face selected. I'm going to select the node tool again. Click on that and we'll go in and sort of jot a couple of nodes down. So I'll stick one here and I'll make this a sharp node. So remember, we can press Option and click. Now that's a sharp node. And we'll go over to the other side and we'll wait till it kind of snaps in place because we have our snap option on. This one up there, align to nodes of selected curves. So I go down and I'll just click once. I'm going to leave that a smooth node. So now all I have to do is grab the top left node, hold Shift, click and just drag it off to the side there. And for this one on the right, I'll just select it and delete it. And then I can give this a bit of a wave. Okay, we're ready to actually place the hair inside. And rather than drawing anything new out, I'll just recycle his head. So I'm going to press Command C, Command V to make a copy of his face. There it is. I'll make it the same color as his eyebrows there. So color picker tool, sample, apply. Okay, I want to send it back behind now. So what I'm going to do is press Command, Shift, and left bracket key, and that will send it all the way to the bottom of the layer stack, as you can see there. And it's not looking quite right yet, is it? So let's flip it upside down. Let's go up to Transform and Flip Vertical. Now it's all just about rescaling it, resizing it. So I'm just going to hold down Command and drag from the side outwards like that. Now I'm going to go on the Node tool. I'll click on that and I'll start just jotting down nodes. Maybe I want to give the hair a bit of a volume here. So I'll just zoom in a little bit and select this one. And basically I just want to bring this out without it affecting the other side. So I'll just press Command Z. What I'm going to do is hold down Option, click on this handle and just drag it out like that. Simple. And then I just bring this one out and then just drag this handle. There we go. So now we'll do the same for this other side as well. So I'll click on this node. I can see the handle. I can click and drag this handle up like this. And then I'll just play around with this section. Oh, look, there's another hidden one. I'll delete that. I'll just drag that out. In fact, you know what? Sometimes if like you can't see a handle there, like there's no handle on that side for me to grab, I can hold down Shift, click and just drag out like this and it will kind of appear. And then you can start playing around with it a little bit more. I need to do the same for the other side as well. Just bring it in like that. And just drag that in a little bit too. Just have a play around with it. But you can see now we have a side parting. And remember, you can always play around with the face a little bit more if it doesn't look quite right. So right now, this person looks more like a teenager or an adult. If you want them to look really young, you could just drag off the mouth, select the face and the neck, and just drag that up. So it's got a much smaller face. And then you could just drag this up a little bit, make the nose much smaller, and just copy the nose and make it into a mouth. Maybe you could make that white. So now look, it looks much younger. I can make the neck smaller as well. And in fact, when I made the neck smaller just then, did you see that and in fact, you see the shadow doesn't make sense anymore. If I press Command Z to go back, whilst this layer is selected, I can go up to Lock Children and I can then rescale from the center again. So hold Command, click and drag in and you see it doesn't affect the shadow anymore. Now we can zoom out and have a look. Yeah, he looks a lot younger now. Okay, let's do one more character, but in a beanie. Okay, we have a new character, everything the same as the last one, except he's got a rounded top of his head, okay? So what we're gonna do with this one, give him a beanie, give him a mustache, some stubble, and a new pair of eyes. Let's start off with the eyes. So we're gonna head down to the rounded rectangle tool, just click on that, and we'll just zoom in and just click and drag out a long eye this time. We'll zoom in a little bit more, we'll drag that handle in so it's completely rounded. I'll click on the move tool, V on the keyboard, and I'll just place the eye where I think it should be, around here, and I'll make a duplicate, so I'll hold down Shift, Command, click, and drag it off to the side there. And I just want to make sure it is centered, so I'm going to hold Shift and select the other one. And I can see the bounding box is telling me no, it's not. So hold Shift, click, and just drag across. Now they're centered, okay? Let's create the beanie. So I'll just recycle his head. So I'm going to press Command C, Command V. That's made a duplicate. I'm going to go up to color, select the color picker tool, and I'll sample from this orange color here and apply. Okay, now I just want to cut the top off because it's only the top bit that I'm interested in. So this is where the knife tool can come in handy. So head on up to the left-hand side and click on knife tool, or K on your keyboard. So before you start using it, just hold Shift and click and drag, and we'll just kind of lop the top of his head off. And now I'll press V, the move tool. Basically, it split it into two, so I'll choose the lower portion. I'll press delete. Now we have the top portion there. So I can just scale that up slightly and just bring it up like that. And now we need the brim. So I'm just going to recycle his eye. So I'll just hold down Command, click on the eye, bring it up there. I'll hold Shift and rotate it around, and dragging from the outside, I'll hold Command, click, and drag like that. So now we have the brim. I'm going to apply a color. So the usual thing, color picker tool, down, sample, and apply. And in fact, I could probably move it up a little bit. So hold Shift, select both those layers, and just drag up a little bit. So it's like on the top of his head. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is create a mustache. So I'm going to select the mouth because I want to draw on top of that. And I'll go ahead and click on the rectangle tool. And I'll just click and drag out like this. So it kind of slightly goes over. At this point, we're going to use the corner tool. So head on up to corner tool or press C on your keyboard. So I've selected it. So I want to select this node here and this node here. So a good way of selecting nodes that are in difficult places is just to hold down Option on the keyboard and click, and then you can start drawing around these nodes here. Both of them are selected. I could just click inwards and drag out. So this is the first part of our mustache. And in fact, I kind of like that look, so I want to bake in that style. So I'll just go up to the move tool and I'll click on convert to curves. That's selected. Let's give it a color. So again, color picker tool, and we'll go down to the deep brown and just select once. There we go. Obviously, I'm going to make a duplicate of this. So I'll press Command J this time. I've got my duplicate. I'll go up to transform, click flip horizontal, hold down Shift, click and drag outwards like this. And now holding down Shift again, I'll select the other and I'll just bring it down slightly like that. Okay, he's looking all right, but I think he needs some stubble. So what I'll do, I'll just select the face layer because I know I want to draw this stubble inside of this shape. So I'm going to draw out a shape that's going to be already clipped inside. So select the face, click on Insert inside the selection. Select that one, and now anything you draw will be clipped inside. So we'll go ahead and grab our ellipse tool again, click on that, and just drag out whilst holding Shift to keep it in proportion, and let go. Switch over to the move tool again and click and drag it down. Obviously I need to change the color of this. So again, color picker tool, down to the lighter brown and select. So there we have it. New eyes. We've got a mustache. In fact, I should probably bring that down a little bit like that. There we go. He's got a mustache, bit of stubble going on there. You could add some reflection to his eyes, but these are kind of flat designs. I could just press Command J on this one, make it white, scale it down somewhat, chuck it in the corner there. Something like this might do, so it's slightly shiny, but let's get rid of that. I want it to be completely flat. So we've created 3 different characters, and obviously we created a childish version of one of them. And pretty much that's it for this tutorial, but I just want you to get creative. And once you've made one, you can make amendments to it. So let's just copy this one. And what can we do with this? So I'll just go ahead and get rid of that bun. We don't need that anymore. I can go up to the face here and just get rid of these nodes. So she's got more of a fringe going on there. And maybe this one's got longer hair. So I'm going to convert that to curves and just click and drag that across like that. And I'll add another node, make it sharp, drag it down. You know, you can get really creative. So that's just one. You could change the color of it. So many things you could do. Change the lip color. You could make them face to the left or right, by just kind of moving a couple of pieces around. More like that. And then maybe you could sort of like hide that ear there. So it looks like they're looking over to the side. Maybe move the chin a little bit. There's plenty of things that you can do to make variations of the designs you've already got. So get creative and have fun. And that's it for this video. Thank you for tuning in. And if you found it useful, let me know in the comments section. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video. Cheers.